A warm welcome, everyone, to our Future of Vehicles meetup from Startup Autobahn, hosted with our founding anchor partner, Mercedes. I hope all of you are doing good and you're ready to deep dive with us in the topics of in-car hygiene as well customer journey. For everyone who is new in our room here, welcome to Startup Autobahn, to the family. Everybody who joined us already a little bit beforehand, welcome back. Who maybe don't know me, my name is Hannah. I'm a senior program manager of this open innovation platform. And with my colleagues Theo and Timo, you will meet them later. We will guide you through this 85 minutes. So maybe these people who maybe know us and visit us. So maybe raise your hand if you know this background. So we kind of changed our place where we're streaming. So since last week, we are back in our office. Normally, we would host you in our private home. Now we are in our office in Stuttgart-Vaihingen, Arena 2036, and do the first time this live stream. And maybe sometimes you will see people passing by, or like my colleagues, they are working left and right. And behind the camera, I can see Aaron, Basti, Robin, all are waving and saying hi to all of you. And millions of cables here around. But yeah, we're excited to try it out and we hope you like this kind of live event. And we was not sure, long time ago, 2016, okay, so long time ago it's not, but we start this journey. And I think on this beginning, we not really imagine this amazing ride we did. So we started 2016 with our founding team. It was Daimler, was University of Stuttgart, Arena 2036, and Plug and Play. And now with 30 partners, we're working on mobility, production, sustainability topics, and so more, with more than 200 startups. And so far, really successful and really happy to have you here. As well, we have two new partners joining us. So Sekisui and ADAC, welcome to the team. Future of vehicles was always an important topic for us, but the ground or everything right now changed. So our focus changed as well. If you look at yourself, how you maybe have a different behavior in the last 3-4 months, this cannot pass by the innovation world. So we have now each month, or we had each month, future of workplaces events, production and supply chain events, new luxury events, and all this, in this virtual world, and today, the Future of Vehicles event. I'm just checking with my team if we're moving slides, because on my screen, we're not moving slides, but it works. Okay, cool. Then you see something different than I do, but this should work. Okay, next to all these events where we look for new startups, for new innovation, we can hopefully work in the future. Our partners work with the program 8 startups on amazing POCs, and we will showcase them on our Expo Day in September. You can stay tuned. We have really cool concepts and plans for this, and we'll share them soon. And I think you all are invited as well to join us here in September. But yeah, we are here for today, right? So we already started this morning as well yesterday to meet all the startups you meet later in one-on-one meetings with our partners to see if there's possibilities to work together. Now, after me, our hosts from the Plug and Play side, Sasha will do a welcome, and from the Mercedes side, Felix, he's project manager at Startup Autobahn Mercedes, they will say hi. Afterwards, we invited Katja. She is mobility expert and we'll talk about, okay, maybe who's actually driving mobility. And with her keynote, Change for the Better needs diversity. After this, we invited 10 startups from all over the globe. We have a startup from New Zealand, I think Sweden is with us, America, one from Germany, from Stuttgart, so across kind of the street. And Theo and Timo will give you a little bit more introduction in our topic. as well introduce you to all the startups. And afterwards, we have an interview with Jens. He is co-founder and CEO of Blacklane, like how the coronavirus changed mobility and what was his experience in this whole period to see, okay, what do I need to do now to be long time successful? And I think this is an amazing lineup. And I'm really, really grateful for all the startups who are joining us today, all the speakers, our team around, our co-host Mercedes to set this up. And I think the lineup and everything what is coming up can speak for themselves. If you want to read more about the speakers, startups, want to have a look again on the agenda we showed beforehand, you can go to this Notion document, and maybe one of my team members will post this again in the chat, but all of you should get it via email, maybe via the info package or calendar invite your colleagues sent you from our partners, and there you can get a little bit more information. And in the end, of course, we're right now online, and normally our events are in person. But if you have any questions to the startups, you can ask them over the chat. I'm not sure if the chat version is here or here, but one side you will see it. Oh, down, I have no idea. Okay, I get the side, it's on this side, is it? Okay, maybe. But yeah, you can ask chat your questions, the startup will reply over there, and then later on with the chat with Jens, you can ask them and I will ask it directly. And I would say, I think we have over 200 people in the room, maybe not. My team left me on the other side, no. But I would like to hand over to Sasha so we can start with the program. And Sasha, can we switch the screen, the seat? Are you around? Okay, see you later.
Am I on? Fantastic. So thank you, Hannah, and welcome to our 4th meetup of Program 8 at Startup Autobahn. Today, hosted by our valued founding partner and initiator of the Startup Autobahn open innovation platform, Daimler. Since our inception 4 years ago, we constantly tweaked the program and services in order to improve the efficiency of the collaboration between the startup and corporate partners. What has become more and more apparent, especially in the past months, is that the technologies from these young, specialized high-tech companies have been gaining importance in the general digitization activities across all industries. Our job and objectives are to have an efficient way to work with these startups. That means to have a well-oiled framework, to test new startups technologies fast, focused, and in a cost-efficient way, and also being result-oriented. Together with the Daimler business units and the tech experts from various fields, we already pursued a total of about 150 POCs, which typically run only for a few weeks to a few months. Roughly a third of them went into continued pilot phase or are already implemented. Our partners tell us that this pace of tech turnaround is amazing, even if many of the startups might only be building blocks in the big frame of their digitization strategy. We really like to thank Daimler and our 29 active and engaged industry partners on the Startup Autobahn platform for being role models in the collaboration with startups, for having turned around this many successful pilot projects, and to keep on going strong. Together, we're striving to find new solutions with cutting-edge technologies in order to continue to build the best and most innovative future cars, which also deliver a great and personalized luxury experience. Since we are hosting this event together with Daimler, I'd like to say a special thanks to all of you which have been involved in the startup projects, and especially to our key contacts who helped drive the topic of open innovation inside Daimler. That is Philip, Maike, Felix, and Dennis. To switch to today's topics, people who know me understand that I'm a big shopper. By the way, I'm still looking for the right car, and that I'm a very picky and clean guy. So I'm really looking forward to the new tech of in-vehicle hygiene and online customer experience, which you will see in a few minutes. And with that, I would like to give it up to Felix. Thank you.
Hört man mich denn? Okay, so guys, welcome back to me. Again, it's the live show, so sometimes stuff don't work. Let's ask the team behind the camera how many more minutes we need to pass. 1. So, Theo, would you like to come to me and we speak a little bit more about the topic? You should maybe grab a second chair. We only have one here. Or you can maybe get this one for the light, and then let's get here together. Wow, we're so well prepared.
Hi everyone, I hope this is working just fine. So I'm Theo, I'm part of the ventures team at Startup AUTOBAHN, and it's good that Hannah invited me here a bit earlier, but you're also going to see me later today when we're going to discuss in-vehicle hygiene, and we're going to present the startups and young tech companies that have joined us today.
This is wonderful, and I think you scouted really good. Okay, this is probably not straight here, but maybe because this topic you were really in deep, like especially hygiene, I think was the topic you scouted for. So what was kind of personal for you really interesting, as well what could the people are really looking forward on the startup technologies?
Yeah, so actually the topic is super relevant, I think, for all car manufacturers, but also for us as consumers and car buyers. So I think everyone is prioritizing now health, personal health and protection right now because of the virus outbreak, and it's completely relevant. Everyone is thinking about it. The technologies were super interesting. We talked about air disinfection, we talked about antimicrobial materials, about coatings and paintings that have like super interesting structures, chemical structures that can repel viruses. So all the car manufacturers now are switching to think about smart materials, but also like systems that can help them change or upgrade the air filtration systems in the car. Crazy. So the technologies out there are really abundant. There's a lot we can talk about, and I'm really looking forward to the pitches of our 5 young tech companies who have proven a lot in the space, in the medical space first, but now they're slowly moving into the mobility space as well. In terms of like what we do here in the ventures team, it's quite exciting, I would say, and a very rewarding experience, because you always get to see like the latest technologies out there. You always get to have, you know, the finger on the pulse of the newest and hottest startups that are emerging. So, I mean, working at Startup AUTOBAHN feels like a really nice experience at the end of the day, which is why we love being here. And today we love actually looking at these technologies that were, in a way, first dictated by Daimler, but I think all the other corporate partners of our platform really enjoyed the meetings and the startup discussions that happened yesterday and today.
Yeah, it was really good advertising actually for Startup AUTOBAHN. And I know like each team is looking for interns, so if you're interested for the venture team, corporate team, the program team or operations team, yeah, just get in touch with us. And looking at my team, do we need a few more seconds? Oh, we're good. Theo, thank you for joining us. Really spontaneous. We will hear you later.
Yes.
And then now I would say, Felix, please welcome all our guests. We're back. Okay. So back to, I feel we are so prepared actually. But now we looked at a lot of startups today, and you will meet some as well. But what it means to be like as a startup part of the program and what is happening after today. So we're scouting the startups to bring them together with the business unit. But what is happening afterwards?
Yeah, so actually the first step already happened. So we brought in the same room both the startups, the young tech companies, and our corporate partners. And actually our core strength at Startup AUTOBAHN is to do this matchmaking. So we help our industry leading partners like Daimler to connect with young companies. And after they have this initial meeting where they can discuss potential use cases, it's usually time to follow up with more calls and more discussions to see if there's a potential to work together on a pilot project or POC. So once the startup has kind of secured a POC, with one of our corporate partners, then they also have the chance to get into the program. And this also means that they have the chance to expose and to present their solution at one of our expo days. And I'm sure you guys all know that we have these trade fair events twice per year. We used to have them in person, actually. The last one happened in February, but stay tuned, I guess, for the next event. But Hannah, you also have been our project manager for like since the very beginning. So far, yeah. So maybe you can also tell us a bit about your experience of kind of helping startups grow, because that's what we do best here, and we really love to see them just fly and accelerate their growth to the market by bringing them into our program. And then eventually, if their pilots are super successful, we also love to see that they go commercially live into series production and so on.
And this is actually the part we coming in. Like there's so many like accelerator incubation programs supporting startups to grow with like mentoring, like supporting them to build up their business model. But we are working with startups together who have already like a software, hardware we can test really fast in POCs. And I think this is the biggest thing where we go in for helping startups, right? And then matching them with the business units of our corporate partners to, cool, and to get a bigger space in there. And I think so far 8 programs, 2004, 3 years, worked out really well. I think it was like 240 startups, over 380 projects made. And of course, project on one side is really, really cool. But at the end, you need the implementation. So you need to kind of like develop new products, get your process faster and stuff like this. So this is actually our overall goal, to have long-term implementations. And I think so far, 50, 60, 70, we have to maybe make our numbers a little bit more new. But this is actually our main goal, to get them in. And it's looking to Aaron, Bastian, Robin. Are we ready, or do we need? Okay, it's a yes and a no at the same time. It's a yes. Okay. Then Theo, again, thanks for interviewing me now. And then see you later here on the screen. Felix, please welcome all our guests.
Thank you, Hannah and Sasha, for the kind introduction. My name is Felix Kappen-Kastrup-Luker, and I'm in charge of the scouting at Startup Autobahn Mercedes-Benz. Welcome to this meetup. As one of the 4 anchor partners of Startup Autobahn, it is very important to us to find answers for a quick changing world. Answers through technology. We've invited great startups who are targeting the topics in-car hygiene and customer journey and digital and contactless sales. So on the one hand, how can we stay safe in our beautiful cars? And on the other hand, how can we create a great experience purchasing them? Although it's currently not possible to have a live event, I'm getting used to the virtual setup, and it's a great alternative for us. Since 2016, we've had over 150 pilot projects and over 14 serial implementations. I'm looking forward for many, many more. So let's all make the best out of the virtual sessions and adapt the speed of the startups. I hope to see you soon in person.
Thank you, Felix. Always a pleasure to organize days like this with our Startup Autobahn Mercedes team. We all know diversity matters, and at the end, we all drive mobility. Felix and we spoke beforehand if we should talk more from the Startup Autobahn team about new mobility, or if we should get somebody inspiration from the outside of our platform. So we are really happy to have Katja with us today. She is thought leader focusing on new mobility, new work, and diversity. She is organizing twice a month a podcast, She Tries Mobility, and is pushing ahead mobility topics on the federal board of Verkehrsclub Deutschland e.V. For her inspiration work, she has been, as example, recognized as Remarkable Woman in Transport 2020, and we are really happy to have her here today with us, speaking about the change for the better needs diversity. Katja, the screen is yours.
Thank you for this kind introduction, and thank you, Hannah, for the invitation for today. My name is Katja Diehl, and I'm coming to you from Hamburg, which is really funny because I'm getting used to have keynotes and impulse doing from virtual reality, but it's really strange for me not to look in your eyes and see your reactions. But hopefully I can reach out and open your mind for some things I have in mind when I talk about the future of mobility, which is already beginning right now. I will share my screen with you. Hopefully this will work. And I think we need diversity to change the mobility for the better for all of us. Because at the moment we have some blind spots happening regarding the group of people who is now building up the future mobility. And I like really what I heard from Hannah, that you are already doing what I'm calling out for. You are meeting each other, even if you don't work in the same company. You are really diverse from your ages and your jobs you are doing. So maybe you're not the first peer group I need to reach out to change, but maybe you can foster this with me together and by leaving the room afterwards and having some new ideas how you can foster diversity in your jobs. And some words from my side. I worked as a journalist, starting for the German press agency. And maybe my curiosity was never stopped until then, because I really like to ask questions and to find answers together with others. And then I started to work for PTO business. I worked also in the logistics area and for railway companies, but I left. And now I'm working for Door to Door, which is a ride pooling company and is doing the job with PTO business in the region of Germany and DACH region. But I also have my freelance business, which is called She Drives Mobility. The she is me. And I'm trying to have a different approach how we can build the future of mobility. Because when I wanted to change it in the corporates I worked before, I always felt a little bit like this white goat on the right side, because the others were all male and they are having fights against each other. And I was asking, where are the customers right now? Are you customer centric? What are we talking about? Why do you foster this kind of against each other? And why do we do this as a group of people and regarding the future of building up a really good mobility for everyone outside there? Because when you look upon the people who are now in the most highest hierarchy in the ministries and the management boards from our country, I think it's really obvious that it's not diverse. The groups are really the same. And I don't really want to point anyone special, because I think every one of them is really good in doing his or her business. But I think we need more diversity from the beginning of everything. And that means also we need diversity in politics. When you look upon this expert board, which is working for Mr. Scheuer, you see that they are really healthy, they are white, they are having a special age. And I think they have really the willing of doing future mobility, but maybe their blind spots are lacking regarding all elderly people, regarding people in wheelchairs, people who can't see, and even small children. So for me, it's kind of mix it up, kind of being proud of diversity. Because when you're sitting in a silo and I clone myself and I have 5 Katjas sitting there and I have an idea, every one of these Katjas will say, oh, wow, it's just such a good idea. I just think the same as you did just 1 second before you told me. And I think it's not mean or bad. It's just a blind spot. And you need someone who asks you questions. Why are you doing this way? Why can't we see it from another point of view? And it's not about female or male. It's just about the mix of people and being really proud of to mix a group of people up and to have different kinds of views. And also I see diversity is not the easiest part. You must step out of your comfort zone. And this will be something which we are not used to as human beings, because we like our comfort zone so much. But innovation won't start in the comfort zone. It's just outside the comfort zone, and you have to go this step beyond to have innovation and to grow. A really difficult way to go. But I think it's really worth it. And I want to empower you to do this the next days you are going. Because when you're really honest to yourself, are you really feeling comfortable with the traffic we have in our German cities? I think no. I asked someone to paint a picture how I feel when I look upon a city like Berlin, Hamburg, or Munich, and I think everyone is going his ways or her ways, but no one is really feeling like it's fluid, like it's really easygoing, because the space is lacking for all those outside of there who are doing their mobility every day in the cities we live in. And I think it's really a lack of how to have an order, how to have something we can manage upon mobility in the streets, because we grow. The streets were built in the 60s or 50s, and now we have this lack of place everywhere, and we need to have a new system running outside of there, and to empower the people to have their own mobility like they want to have it, but we manage it better for everyone else who's not doing the same mobility as you have. And also the PTOs are not the good guys in this kind of question, because they are having a really horrible system of selling tickets. There are so many special things you need to know when you want to buy a ticket in a city you don't know. And I think it's not easy to understand the system of PTO business. So no one is nudged to leave his car or her car for maybe a ride with a PTO, because it's so horrible to understand. Also, they must adjust their customer-centric view. Mobility as a service, do you remember? It came up some years ago, and to be honest, I never understood what this should be. Because mobility as a service, everyone is doing his or her mobility. Everyone is saying this is the kind of service I need, but no answer will be the same. If you ask people, what is your thinking about mobility as a service? There's always a different approach. There are always different needs. And I think we really have to open our minds to see, okay, I got my framing. Maybe I'm a bicyclist, maybe I'm a car driver. But I have to look upon, if I build another mobility, how can I see the people who have special needs who are not the same as mine? And I have in mind as mobility as a service, as a young lady who is having a child, who is having a job, who is maybe fostering someone else, an elderly person, a care work. And I know, yes, of course, there are also men doing this. But Corona has shown us, to say as a pity of Corona is that again, females are doing the care work, and the care work is invisible. So also the mobility they need is invisible when they don't own a car. And maybe car builders and PTO companies, and maybe also the taxis can have a kind of collaboration to have a new mobility for people who don't own a driver's license, for example, because there are 14 million people who don't own it. And I think they are also worth it to show upon having their mobility really done in a mobility pattern, not in a one-way mobility like car and PTO, that they have multimodal approaches and they have special needs every time the clock switches an hour later. Because it's really, it's a fact that females are having a different mobility pattern than males. It's also from the roads we came from, that the man in the family owns the family car and he's doing his drives to the work and back, and the care work of the lady in the house is more like multimodal, as I told you before. It's more about PTO, but it's also more about going by foot. And this is maybe, if you be honest, mobility we do every day. Every one of us who's able to walk, walks every day. And even if you are doing it all, we are not looking upon how we can have a good walking path through a city. So I think it's really worth it to look upon this kind of facts and to foster a system that is embracing the different needs of mobility. You remember? We talked about silos before. We talked about really homogeneous groups now. doing the mobility for our country. But do you think, as I told you a story before of different mobility patterns, that they are able to have a look upon all these kind of different patterns we have? I don't think so. There's a really nice quote from a customer of mine, Civility Management Consultant, asked many PTO business leaders in Germany last year how they are looking upon their digitization in their company. And they said in most companies, a technology-driven culture prevails in which people are not the focus of attention. It is the people who change the company and, in the process, must also develop their own attitudes and behavior. What does it mean for you? Do you have the people of your company in the center of thinking digitization? Or are you just looking upon technique and how to approach better technique for the digitization? Because the people in your company, they have the digital mindset, do they? So ask yourself some questions. Are you having diversity mindset? Who do you hire? Which disciplines do you prefer when you hire people? Are this kind of different people from yourself? Because I have a podcast, it's also called She Drives Mobility. In the first year, I just asked female leaders of the mobility companies how they came to the business. And no one of them was straight. They came from other branches, they came from other companies. They've been a hair cutter before, they've been someone who worked with gardens. And I think this shows mobility is something that needs a different approach also from the people who build it. It's not about just BWL and VWL. It's also about people who have maybe done social jobs because they know the people who are in need of care work, who are the systemrelevante Berufe, you remember, they are not able to own a car because they are so less paid. So with whom do you work the most? Is it someone who leaves you in your comfort zone? Or are you trying to beat yourself a bit by going outside your comfort zone, working with people who don't have the same mindset as yours? What do you think? Do you know your core competencies? Are you trying to be a generalist? Or are you trying to be really good in something and have an approach to being better and better? Interesting questions, huh? So for me, I have some, advices. I looked upon 3 silos I know. It's the mobility providers, the companies, but also the local authorities. And I think the mobility providers are really good when they are doing some collaboration with people. A PTO running system doesn't need something to build up like a software system. There are people around who are already doing this. So if you're searching for someone who can erase your digitization by doing some algorithm and stuff, ask someone who is doing this for ages. Don't do it yourself. And companies, now, as we know Corona, we all have the privilege of having some jobs who are really doing good with remote working. Verkehrswende is also avoiding some ways we did before, is avoiding flying in Germany. So for me, companies can do really much to change mobility behavior of their people who are working for them. But also the focus of local authorities can be, we want to shape the mobility of our region. We want to be the ones who are now deciding what we want to have in the city or in the rural area. We want to create a space where it's worth living in, where people are staying and not moving away because it's so noisy and it's so stuck with people and cars. For me, it's this kind of vision I want to implement. It's we drive mobility. At the moment, it's she drives mobility, which is me, Katja. But I like to invite you to be we drive mobility. As you see in the picture, there are many people doing this. It's the PTOs, it's the car drivers, it's people with wheelchairs, it's from different ages, and they are all really happy to have a place together called the mobility of the future. So please be strong enough to have a diverse team, be strong enough to think in a different way and to invite people who leave you not in your comfort zone, but who are nudging you to go out of sight of this. And I think we can do it all, and it's starting with small steps, but it's starting, and I hope you will be in the team of WeDrive Mobility. Thank you so much for your attention. You find my contact details here. Reach out to me. I'm looking forward to have your impression of this kind of impulse.
All right, thank you. And hi, everyone. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Theodora, part of the ventures team at Startup AUTOBAHN, where I focus on emerging technologies that are driving the next wave of innovation in mobility, production, and enterprise. Now, I want us all to do a little exercise and think back to January 1st of this year. We were shaking hands with everyone we met. The words social distancing made absolutely no sense to us. Getting tested meant something, completely different back then, and touching surfaces didn't cause too much overthinking. But at some point, it almost felt like the world stopped spinning, at least for some time, and that just to make way for a microorganism that we now know as coronavirus. It demanded that we put the brakes on the global economy to prevent its spread. So all the big corporations and leaders had to coordinate a global shutdown of the economy. It was an experiment we have never done before, but one that had a ripple effect all around the world. This outbreak has touched us all, and we are all forever changed in some major ways, but also some minor ways. Overnight, personal hygiene and social distancing became everyone's top priority. So it is no wonder that health concerns also infiltrated into the minds of car buyers, particularly since closed vehicle environments pose a higher risk of infection. In a post-pandemic world, washing or maintaining the cleanliness of the car takes a whole new meaning. The virus has accelerated trends which just began to emerge in the last few years, such as air purification, antimicrobial materials, and self-cleaning surfaces. So let us now explore what the future holds for car makers, because that's what we do best here at Startup AUTOBAHN. New customer expectations around vehicle hygiene will impact the entire mobility industry. To put some numbers behind it, according to a 5-country market survey done in China, US, Japan, Germany, and Italy, 80% of car owners said that they would pay extra for technology that could sterilize their vehicle. And they are more likely to consider air quality features for their next vehicle than they were before the outbreak. There is no wonder that all the big car manufacturers are diving into next-generation tech to virus-proof their vehicles and win over concerned customers. One thing is clear when it comes to the variety of innovative technologies: the options are abundant, and most of them go beyond simply spraying disinfectant into the cabin air. For instance, one potential solution is blasting car interiors with ultraviolet light. Since UVA or UVC sterilization works by attacking the cell's DNA, it is not safe for human exposure. The feature can only be activated when the car is not occupied. But with the help of motion sensors, determining car occupancy should be easy. Then, the UV lamps can be integrated into the existing lighting systems, into the headliner console, or into the ceiling so that it reaches seats, floor mats, dashboard, and the steering wheel simultaneously. Although bursts of UV light treatment are effective for periodic cleans in the vehicle, they are by no means providing continuous protection. Moreover, UV light can also break down the chemical bonds in plastics and similar materials that can be found in the car. Moving on, another obvious solution is upgrading air filtration systems to kill microbes, bacteria, and airborne viruses. For this, there is a need to evolve the HVAC systems to provide drivers and passengers with the best possible air quality. There are usually 2 steps taken into account. First, to strip outside air of bacteria and pollution before entering the cabin, and secondly, to systematically scrub the air inside the cabin and inactivate any critical virus particles. Other disinfection techniques use vapor bombing with chemicals such as hydrogen peroxide. This intermittent solution can be effective, but not for achieving continuous protection. Another emerging trend that coronavirus is fueling is the need for more segregated climate zones in the cockpit. I'm sure we will hear more about this technology in the future. Meanwhile, some automakers are taking a bit more extreme measures and are looking at software solutions that can temporarily raise the interior car temperatures beyond 15 degrees Celsius. 15 minutes are enough to reduce the viral concentration inside the vehicle. Because heat permeates the entire cabin, this process is quite efficient and should not damage interior parts. But there is also a need to equip the car with additional cleaning features. Thus, car manufacturers are also paying attention to antimicrobial and smart materials that repel viruses. In addition, self-cleaning or easily cleanable surfaces are also in high demand. For example, different car interior companies are looking at antimicrobial leather and fabrics that can resist viruses, bacteria, and fungus, or at antimicrobial paints and coatings that can give a clean finishing to surfaces. All right, so now that we have mapped out some of the most important trends emerging for in-vehicle hygiene, let's turn our attention to the 5 companies that have been carefully curated by Daimler and our team for their unique technologies. I'm pleased to introduce you Inhalio, a leader in digital scent technology. The company can help OEMs and Tier 1 suppliers build embedded scent diffusion systems into vehicles. They are currently adding both antiviral and antibacterial ingredients to their scent formulas. Let's hear more.
Hi, I'm Keith Kelson, CEO of Inhalio. We are a digital scent platform company. We have an infusion process with dry air technology, a diffusion process for in-cabin, and we collect data insights back in the cloud. We solve 3 major problems in the mobility industry. One is malodor, including pet odor, body odor, and smoking. We also solve motion sickness. We can reduce it or eliminate it, especially in autonomous vehicles where people are doing something else in the car. But most importantly, we can eliminate airborne pathogens, which include virals and bacteria. What is that? Ah, that's the sweet smell of success.
Okay, great. Coming up next, we have a company based in New Zealand, Inhibit Coatings. They have developed long-life antiviral and antimicrobial coatings to prevent transmission from touch surfaces. Let's hear more about them.
Hi, I'm Eldon from Inhibit Coatings. Do you ever look at a handrail, elevator button, or door handle and think twice about touching it these days? What about the surfaces in your car? Most of us only clean our car interior once a year, and I've definitely never sanitized mine. Antibacterial and antiviral technologies can eliminate bacteria and viruses, creating a hygienic and safe environment for you and your consumers. The problem with currently available products is that they're designed for the active ingredient to wash out. This limits their effectiveness and releases harmful biocides into the very environment you're trying to keep safe. At Inhibit Coatings, we develop antimicrobial coatings and surfaces where the active ingredient is bound to the polymer or resin, maintaining its effectiveness over the lifetime of the system. We don't take a one-size-fits-all approach. We work with resin manufacturers to develop one application for a lifetime.
All right, now it's time to move on to a company with Irish roots but a global reach, Noveris. The company develops clean air solutions that can effectively remove viruses from the air. Let's have a closer look at how their patented technology works.
At the core of Noveris's air disinfection products is one of the most powerful patented nanoscale technologies. NanoStrike is a lethal weapon in air disinfection and virus destruction. This unique patented technology kills pathogens on a nanoscale by using Noveris plasma coil tubes that are surrounded by an atmospheric plasma discharge. The discharge provides a deadly strike to all harmful airborne pathogens, such as viruses, bacteria and fungi, as they pass through the plasma field, obliterating them at a molecular level. NanoStrike technology kills and deactivates harmful pathogens in a number of ways, such as destroying DNA and preventing it from replicating, etching the cell walls of a microorganism, causing them to be stressed and deformed, rendering them inactive, and within nanoseconds species are broken down into small, harmless molecules. NanoStrike's effectiveness lies within its ability to deactivate and kill even the smallest nano-sized pathogens on contact. Other technologies, such as ionization, release ions into the air, where they bond with pollutants, causing them to cluster. This makes them heavy, so they fall out of the air within an occupied space, landing on surfaces and objects, potentially creating sources of contamination, or becoming airborne again through everyday activities. As viruses and other pathogens pass through the NanoStrike plasma field, they are rendered inert and deactivated. Therefore, only harmless dead pathogen debris emerges from the field. In contrast, filters collect live pathogens, allowing them to breed, creating, in effect, a new source of bioburden. Also, some viruses can potentially breach even the most efficient filter, and these pathogens and viruses can continuously release into the indoor environment. Noveris's NanoStrike technology is the first line of defense in air disinfection and virus destruction, providing clean and safe indoor air.
Our next guest is Phone Soap. The company commercializes small devices that use UVC light to safely sanitize smartphones and personal items. It only takes 10 minutes for the process to be completed, and one can also charge the phone at the same time. Let's find out more.
Hi, I am Jan Boers, distributor of Phone Soap in Europe. Do you recognize this? The smartphone is one of the dirtiest objects you own.
Phone Soap tackled this problem since 2010 and has stepped into the front line during the corona crisis. The company has been reshaped in the past few months to lead the way in personal technology hygiene. Millions of units sold and more on the way. New concepts and use cases will keep phone soap in the spotlight with proven technology. New applications will be added, such as medical, IT equipment, point of sanitation, and automotive solutions.
We look forward to make this happen, together with you.
And finally, let's also hear about Vital Vio's LED technology that can offer non-chemical continuous antimicrobial protection. Unlike UV light, their solution can be used around people and is planet-friendly.
We created a study of wellness in the post-COVID world. What we found was astounding. 76% will hold brands accountable for how they clean their spaces. At Vital Vio, what we've done is harnessed frequencies within the visible light spectrum to be antimicrobial. This is Vital Vio at work. We meet international standards for continuous and unrestricted use, unlike UV. Our technology is ideal for overhead lighting and also cleaning small spaces like elevator buttons. Perfect for active office environments, ideal for schools. And as the future approaches, new applications will appear. And not only are we antimicrobial, we reduce odor too. You'll find us in consumer products, find us in your home. You'll find Vital Vio in public spaces. We're Vital Vio. We're a new class of antimicrobial light.
Super. A big thank you to all our guest companies for joining us today. As we are now reaching the end of our tech session on in-car hygiene, I would like to pass it on to my colleague Timo, who will talk about the new definition of customer journey. Thank you.
Thanks, Theodora, and a big thanks to all the startups for presenting their technologies. Hello, everyone. First of all, a warm welcome also from my side. My name is Timo, and I'm part of the ventures team at Plug and Play Startup Autobahn. After having heard great presentations about hygiene in the car, I would like to introduce the second topic that we are covering today, customer journey. Before we start with the second round of presentations, I would like to introduce a startup that is not linked to today's topic, but definitely to another topic that is connected to the future of vehicles, sustainability. The startup I would like to introduce was part of our last Startup Autobahn program. Opus 12, a startup from California, has developed a device that recycles CO2 into chemicals and fuels by the help of water and electricity. Together with Daimler, they have developed a car part made of CO2. The following video will give you some insights into their technology and how our platform accelerates corporate startup collaboration.
So at Opus 12, we've developed technology that can recycle CO2 emissions. So we can make products that are normally made from fossil fuels, but we're making them from CO2. So they can end up either carbon neutral or even carbon negative. In partnership with Daimler, we made the world's first auto part made from carbon dioxide. What we did is we took CO2, turned it into the feedstocks for a material called polycarbonate, and then worked with Daimler's existing supply chain, their existing plastic supplier and their existing tier 1 manufacturer to actually make a part that would be compatible with the Mercedes A-Class. And we got very lucky because our champion at Daimler, Udo Geier, was excellent in navigating both the internal organization at Daimler as well as the existing supply chain. So as a result, we built something that people wouldn't have expected was even possible in this time frame. Startup AUTOBAHN played a critical role in this project because I actually came here to Stuttgart about a little less than a year ago, and that's where I met our first key contact at Daimler. And it was great because I was giving my presentation during the startup day, and he raised his hand and said, "Hey, what if I told you that I want this now?" And I said, "Let's do a project together." So here we are.
I heard about CO2 transformation to CO, and my job mainly was building up a production chain from capturing CO2 to making a plastic part, which was this. And this is the beginning of a new journey. To my opinion, we really can transform CO2 into a product. Well, I really loved it to work together with this startup Opus. They really pushed me into building up this production chain, and I really trusted in the project, and I believe in the result. We achieved a very good result in the end. We made a part that really could go into a Mercedes-Benz car. So Startup AUTOBAHN supported me a lot. We went to suppliers to talk to them and trying to convince them. Startup AUTOBAHN helped me in writing a book of requirements that we have sent to Opus. Because we bought in the end one of these electrolyzers as Daimler, it's ours, and it was a very nice collaboration with Startup AUTOBAHN.
Now back to today's topic, customer journey. The concept of customer journey refers to the process a customer experiences with a company and their product or service. In other words, what sort of experience customers have from when they first walk in the door of a shop, when they leave with their purchase, and even beyond. As this pandemic is likely to have a sustained impact on how companies engage with their customers, the transition to a fully digital customer journey has never been more important. This session will provide insights into how automakers can remain relevant by embarking on digital-first experiences and online channels. Topics that will be covered are contactless sales, virtual showrooms, digital retail, and remote guided sales solutions. Due to COVID-19, businesses must now rethink customer care. In times of crisis, there is a shift to placing a much higher focus on needs rather than wants, and then it's more important than ever to meet your customers where they are today. Demand patterns have shifted, the desire for contactless retail solutions have magnified. Consumers are asking for digital sales processes that are intended to reduce personal contact to an absolute minimum. Digital-led experiences have to be built in order to fulfill customers' expectations and to build a strong relationship to the customer. The startups that we are seeing today are helping to boost digitization by transforming the traditional retail concept from offline sales to online sales. Visionary 777, a startup from Singapore, is providing a VR and AR platform that enables virtual showrooms and interactive product demos. This helps to attract new customers and maintain already existing relationships, and also to enhance contactless retail activities. Crickle, a startup from London, on the other hand, is a sales platform for remote guided selling. Their platform allows sellers to present in a customized and branded live environment, perfect for products that require guidance by an expert and are characterized by a high transaction value, for example, cars. Bambuser, a startup from Stockholm, is also important to mention when it comes to new retail concepts. They are offering a solution for live streaming. Bambuser's broadcasting technology allowed brands to offer a live video shopping experience. Another important topic when it comes to digital-led customer experience is how to transfer emotions. Content is key. Providing personalized and individualized content to the customer is more important than ever. One of the startups we are having here today, S-Docs from Stuttgart, helps to aggregate sales promoting information from different sources like social media, YouTube, and press releases to provide tailored solutions along the customer journey. Last but not least, Listener, a startup from the US. Listener has developed a data over sound platform, so a device with their software can detect, transmit, and receive data within audio range. This allows for vast amounts of opportunities. For retailers and mobility companies, this enables checkout experiences throughout the customer journey. Mobile checkout, curbside pickup, delivery and trip verification, as well as access control and ticketing are only some of the use cases that can be solved with their technology. All 5 startups are tackling the ever-changing customer demand patterns by helping brands to digitize their sales and retail. By 2023, it is estimated that the global retail e-commerce sales will nearly double. This would mean that 1 in every $5 will be carried out online. When looking at Europe, online retail sales is expected to grow by 11%. Car companies expect to sell 25% of their cars online by 2025. Those numbers show the huge opportunity of e-commerce and that there is no better time than now to invest in new solutions and the transformation towards a digital-led customer journey. There is huge potential in shaping the future of sales together with emerging tech companies, young startups and entrepreneurs to meet customers' expectations and to create something new. We are really looking forward to great pitches and we hope to see some of the technologies not only on paper, but also in reality. With that being said, we can start with the first pitch. Bambuser, a company from Sweden, is breaking new grounds with live video shopping by enabling retailers to make shopping an interactive experience. The stage is yours. The next presentation is about remote guided selling. A startup from London has developed a platform that helps to deliver perfect sales presentations on a secure platform branded with your business identity, Crickle.
Hi, I'm Divakar, the CEO and founder of Crickle. The way we sell is changing in general. Customers want to transact remotely, and more businesses are instructing their sales teams to work from home. How do you then, as a seller of high value and complex products like luxury cars or homes or bespoke travel, how do you sell remotely without the human touch? This is where Crickle, the guided sales platform, comes into play. Crickle is in fact a virtual digital showroom where the seller invites the buyer into a live sales environment branded with the company's logo and colors. The seller then presents products and service options using rich multimedia, video, images, and the buyer is able to interact with the seller face-to-face during the process, resulting in a quick and confident buying decision. Crickle has already enabled its customers to restore human touch to remote selling and to speed up the time that it takes to convert even the most complex sales. Do give us an opportunity to demonstrate the power of Crickle. Thank you.
Data over sound. That does not only sound groundbreaking, it definitely is. Listener, a startup from the US, is pioneering ultrasonic data over sound technology since 2012. The technology is an audible ultrasound technology that has the ability to transfer authentication and payment data through sound waves. How it works? See for yourself.
Listener is a high-frequency, inaudible technology, a communication protocol that sends data over audio. We use inaudible sound waves called smart tones to transmit information. Listener transmits customizable packets of data every second that enable proximity data transmission, second screen functionality, authentication, and lo-fi device-to-device connectivity. For the automotive industry, Listener enables an entirely new level of connectivity. Imagine using your smartphone to open your car. Once you're inside, your car knows who you are and adjusts itself for you. Listener also enables car pay, allowing the car to make secure authentication quickly and easily. Listener drives connectivity amongst cars and consumers more than ever before. We are the world's most advanced ultrasonic protocol. Welcome to the Internet of Sound, the future of car connectivity.
From data over sound to content marketing, the next startup is helping to digitize the customer journey, individualized and personalized content, digital car brochures, and whatever is needed to help retailers to prepare for the future of car sales. Please meet S-Docs, a startup from Stuttgart.
Hey guys, this is Tony from S-Docs, and in this video I'm explaining you the idea behind this great concept. It all first started with my personal buying experience of a brand new car. Back in the days, my car dealer gave me a paper-based print catalog, and I took this catalog home, put it on my living room desk, where it pretty fast went to the paper trash. Instead, there were YouTube videos, car reviews, and a lot of digital media that definitely influenced my personal buying experience far more than any print catalog could ever do. So I asked myself, what if we aggregate all the videos, all the car reviews, and all the media in one digital file, so that the car dealer doesn't hand over a catalog, but a digital file personalized to that specific customer. And that's exactly what we did. And now we are implemented in about 140 car dealers with approximately about 1,000 sales representatives using
creating virtual showrooms to the next level.
At Visionaries, our mission is to push the boundaries of XR and real-time technologies as an advantage. We find for market leaders, there is a disconnect between the physical and digital worlds, where potential customers can only experience products in a flat format without exploiting the full potential of the hardware and connectivity available to them. Our software has been built to benefit every stakeholder in the product lifecycle. We want to empower brand, dealership, customers to utilize assets depending on the format they require. We foresee a world where, regardless of location and hardware, the brand can access potential customers and have them experience its vehicles with total digital immersion. Imagine customers experiencing every vehicle in AR from the comfort of their homes, changing colors and models, or X-ray models where we can help them understand invisible technologies that could potentially save their lives in the future, or even working with suppliers to better communicate the advanced tech they produce. Finally, capturing the attention of potential customers in public places where they could be offered to have the product come to them instead of them going to the product. All of this possible with Visionaries.
Hannah, can you hear me?
Yeah, Jens, can you just tell me if you can hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Okay, wonderful. Overall, before we start, thanks to all the startups for joining us today. And already here, there are some amazing follow-up meetings coming soon. And if you are interested to get in touch with any of the startups, if you're interested in getting to know more about the technologies, please write the venture team and me, and we are happy to connect. A few weeks ago, I was with Jens, the CEO and co-founder of Blacklane, together on a podcast about the new normal. And today he's live in our studio. Let's test it again, Jens. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you perfectly well. Can you hear me?
This is good, but I cannot hear you. So maybe Aaron Basti, what should we do that I can hear Jens and ask him, or like see, I can ask you questions, of course, but I cannot see you.
So can nobody hear me, or just you can't hear me? Hello?
Now, Jens. Wonderful. I can hear you.
Now you can? Great.
And everybody can see Jens asking Aaron a question?
Yeah.
Perfect. Then Jens,
hi.
Welcome in our virtual world here. And maybe before we start with some more questions, maybe can you introduce yourself as well, what Blacklane is doing?
Sure. Thank you very much for the invitation, Hannah and team, first of all. I'm Jens. I'm one of the two co-founders and the CEO of Blacklane. Blacklane is a, I would now say, grown-up, scale-up that has been founded 8-9 years ago. We started actually to build a marketplace that wanted to bring supply and demand in the, I would say, like high-quality transportation area together. So if you consider international limousine services, chauffeur services, professional driving services of such a kind, we wanted to vet the supply and we said democratize it, so by better utilization, bringing down price points to make it accessible for a broader audience. That was the initial idea. Over the years, we just added more and more services. So generally speaking, Blacklane is now here to take the stress out of travel. That's our ambition, and there are a lot of stressful components even now, probably even more than ever before. So we have a lot to do.
You have a lot to do. This is not a negative thing. And before we speak a little bit more about the challenge you face with your company, of course, you're in the whole mobility space. What do you think coronavirus kind of changed in the mobility sector?
So to answer this, I think I would differentiate this into two pieces. One is like how has movement itself been developed or affected? And then also what modes of mobility play a major role or have been influenced the most. So in terms of movement, what we have all experienced ourselves was that when it started to hit the world, already actually end of last year and then early this year, and Blacklane is an international company. I don't know if the audience know that we are present in over 50 countries worldwide. Actually, our largest market being the US. Germany is tiny little on our revenue side, but we are also present in Asia. So we all realized that at some point in the past, towards the change of the year, and in Europe it really hit beginning of March, that cities, countries and cities went into lockdown. And there was not much left for mobility on the mobility side. So we basically only saw e-commerce, delivery, food delivery of such a kind still being mobile, if you will, out there. But passenger mobility was kind of at a standstill. Now we see like also again starting the trend in Asia and then moving over to Europe and then US. We have seen cities wakening up again. So mobility started to play a role again within city borders. People went out of their homes for the first time again. And now we are actually at the tipping point of domestic travel kicking back in. So mobility gets a little longer distance. People are more willing also within summer vacation periods to go out into some further destination. But they're still in a controllable environment before it becomes really international. So international travel is still quite slow and down and will probably also not change in the foreseeable future. So that's with regards to mobility itself. When it comes to the modes of mobility, we are already also as Blacklane, we are seeing changes towards more controllable environments. Yeah, so you are dealing with you wanna be mobile with modes of transportation that you can control that are free of where the risk is smaller, i.e. the mass transportation modes have a bit of a problem going forward, while private spaces, controllable spaces will probably have a bit of an advantage over others.
Your main customer, I think, was on the beginning more the traveler people from the airports, and you stated a second ago, like long distance driving could be a shift now to Corona. So are you changing a little bit your business model as well, or like this what you offered beforehand is more interesting for the audience?
Yes, I think so. We must. So to be honest, for the last 8-9 years, we grew quite significantly to an over 100 million euro organization, more than 400 people around the globe, and we're pretty much focused and concentrated on our bread and butter business, which was the airport transfer business. So very close to airline industry, very close to airport logistics. And when this goes away, when all airlines are grounded, all planes are grounded, then basically our business disappears. And this is what has happened. Now we realize that actually we do have a very valuable product and a very valuable supply in our network that is so much more and so much more valuable than only running for airport transfers. And what we have now seen is actually the Blacklane average distance that we are serving has more than doubled. More than every second euro that we are earning is on long distance rides, so from one city to another. So instead of using Blacklane to get to the airport and fly maybe a short haul flight or so to the next city, Blacklane itself is used for an door-to-door transportation over hundreds and hundreds of miles, if you will. But again, in a very comfortable environment.
Stuttgart to Berlin.
Stuttgart to Berlin, yeah. So we are like every second euro is a long distance transfer. What we call long distance everything over 100 kilometers, but only in this group of businesses, of bookings that we see, the average distance is over 400 kilometers. So it's really like, it's from one city in a country to another city. And there are all sorts of like New York, Philadelphia, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, those sorts of destinations are becoming more and more of our business. That doesn't mean the old Blacklane business is going away, but it will slowly recover, and it's also doing this right now. But we need to diversify as a company to not run into a similar risk again in the future.
Mm-hmm. And today we looked in this hygiene topics as well, like how to act with customers. And if I'm like with this driver, like 400 kilometers in one car, I think there's something we have to change as well, how it's a small place, a car. And what did you do like internally in the company? I think on one side in the car, but as well in the communication with the customer.
Well, we are quite lucky that we actually already had a very clean and very professional product at hand, right? Blacklane was always very high, a high level of hygiene, a high level of professionalism. Our chauffeurs were always very clean. The cars were always being cleaned after every ride. So that was already the right direction. But you are right, we had to even increase those standards. And we have done so along various angles, such as the drivers, the chauffeurs are screened every day. After every ride, the full car, the entire car has been disinfected. We do not offer handshakes anymore, but rather a slight bow. We have put magazines and stuff out of the car. So everything that is like carries some sort of risk has been eliminated. And we have done also, we have communicated this broadly and offensively as well, because it must be named. And there's a lot of uncertainty in the world, especially in travel. And we want to make sure that people understand how safe our product is.
Mm-hmm. Do you see difference? Like we have a really international audience right now as well. Like we acting really international. It's like Americans acting different than Europeans, than Asians, or were they kind of the same concerns on the beginning?
It's similar. So actually, also we as Blacklane, we are being called for and are being asked for border openings, border control, and all those sorts of things. How countries are opening up again. So we are becoming kind of an expert in answering those sorts of questions. International travel is down wherever you look, and we had some decent revenue in Asia, but us as a name, as a Blacklane brand, we're not very well known in the Asian market. So all the business that we were running in Asia was actually delivered by US or European travelers going there or getting out of the Asian market. So this is, and this is also reflected in our current numbers. Our revenue now is pretty much divided 50-50 by US and Europe. Because the rest first needs to be willing to travel internationally again.
Okay, cool. I have like one more last question, but I see there are a lot of questions in the chat. So maybe we can get one question from the chat. I don't know if maybe my team can just read it, or I'm happy to look for it. Just give me a sign, Aaron and Bastian.
Not sure, Hannah, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so there's a question from Blacklane which is asking, how do you expect the mobility industry to change, so market development due to Corona in the short, medium, and the long term?
I only heard the last couple of words. Can you repeat this, please?
I can repeat, I think. It was like about how the whole mobility space is changing, like right now, middle term and long term.
Yeah. So what I mentioned earlier, like in the short run, everything has been put into perspectives, and there's only a slow recovery. Especially inner city mobility is still quite active and has started coming back as the first movers as city mobility starts to kick back in. In the mid and longer run, it will get back to also like again out of city travel, international travel, mobility on a more global basis. But we expect the customer behaviors to change. So there is a clear tendency of avoiding masses, avoiding going through crowded airports, going into crowded train stations. When we, for instance, look at the airline industry that we are serving quite a lot, we see that economy classes are not fully booked out, while business classes are completely full. So that already shows you that people are willing to also spend and pay for distance and for potential safety and security. So this is what we are seeing. And towards probably not towards before the end of the year, international mobility, international transportation will really come back.
Nice. I think there's one more really good question. I just can read it as well. So it's a little bit about, like Mercedes, I think is a shareholder at your company, and how this kind of collaboration works now in this time.
It has always worked well, actually. Indeed, Daimler is the largest minority shareholder of Blacklane, already came on board in 2013, so quite a while ago, and since then a lot of collaboration happened along very many different dimensions. It's a lot of best practice sharing. It's of course also sharing knowledge about markets. It's about also cars, of course, play a big role when we are launching a new market, and we do have a very restricted also set of fleet that we allow and very high standards. The Mercedes-Benz brand is very much connected to actually also the Blacklane brand promise. So we continue to leverage this partnership. We are also especially looking forward that more and more electric vehicles are becoming available from Mercedes-Benz, because another trend that we see in mobility and that we have catered to already since quite some years is sustainability. So Blacklane has been the first ground transportation platform of such a kind that became carbon neutral already in 2017. And since then we continue to push that lever. So looking forward to the EQV coming back on board quite soon, hopefully end of the year.
It's a really, really nice car. So I think there are a lot of people from Mercedes on the other side of the screen. So you heard it. It's needed now.
Yeah, and think of an EQV on a long distance. You're rolling office, you have Wi-Fi on board and a plug for your laptop, and you are just going from Stuttgart to Berlin. And have a full productive time online. That's just a good product.
Yeah, I think overall, like what is what you're doing is a good product, and you do a lot of advertising. Do we have any like chance to get a voucher for the Startup Autobahn community, or for me?
I'm not the big supporter of vouchers. That's untypical for the mobility space. But just drop me a message, and we'll make something happening.
This is really cool. Maybe with my final question, because the time is already really running. So you had like a running system, Corona came, you had to go everything from zero, and then you got your whole like product wider. What would you give as advice to all the startups, companies, and the community what they should do right now to stay long-term successful out of your experience?
Well, I think the most crucial thing is that you question everything in an extremely transparent manner, right? It doesn't make sense also towards your teams. It doesn't make sense to bullshit the people and just say everything is going to work out and going to be fine again, and we are coming back to the old normal when all of this is over, and let's just hibernate and sit and wait. That's not going to work. So we were very transparent, very open. It was a very crucial situation, right? From a more than 10 million euro revenue per month to zero is not something that I wish anybody to experience. And also not our 400 people, right? They were quite affected. Everybody was quite, and it still is very affected. It's a super difficult time. Being transparent, being just yourself, right, and authentic, and trying to continue to evolve as a product. That you are never going to run into a similar situation again.
We really hope for everyone that no one is coming back to the situation we had. And overall, is there anything else you would like to share with the audience?
The last thing is that sounds quite dramatic, but at the end, every crisis is also a huge chance. And this is also what we see, right? We are working on the right things. So there's a good likelihood, though, so when things are coming back, and the world is starting to recover, that we are getting out of this stronger and faster and bigger than ever before. But so always realize that it's not the end of the world, and every crisis has its chances.
I think these are wonderful words for the end, actually, for our meetup. And I have to say thank you for joining me today at our Future of Vehicles event. And then hopefully one day we'll meet in person.
Hopefully, I hope so too. Thank you very much. I will. I often do. I will certainly come there. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you.
Bye.
Asking my team, do we need to rebuild this, or can we recap in this sitting?
Ja, wir bauen ein bisschen runter.
Okay, so I have to wait a second? Yeah. Okay, everyone, please. So we have to rebuild real quick to go back to the normal camera and the normal sound. So you kind of see actually everyone who's working in the background. Thank you, Aaron. As well, our beautiful setting. I don't know what you see actually from me now. Can we just move this away, or let's get this in. And you let me know if I can speak again, normal. Is it my seat again? So, oh, I think I don't need it. Or do I need it? Okay. Then I would say with like the old setting from the beginning, we will end with our meetup, Future of Vehicle, hosted together with our founding anchor partner, Mercedes. And we want to say thank you to all the startups, speaker, the team you actually saw in a second ago on the side, but behind the camera, as well the amazing Mercedes-Benz team we are working on a daily basis, like Philip, Mike, Felix, and the teams around. And if you have any questions regarding our program, want to get in touch with any of our partner startups and something like this, please get in touch with me and the team, and we're happy to connect you to everyone. And actually, Jens already stated the perfect words, like every crisis is a chance. So I think we should take out the chance, like make the best out of it together. You don't have to do it alone. And with this, I wish you all a nice evening, or you're on a different time zone, a nice morning, happy day. And again, my name is Hannah. It was a pleasure hosting you, and hi from the whole Startup Autobahn team. Take care.